a little bit of a mess to clean up. We're a little bit earlier this morning because I have to drive into Chicago for an event to support Big Brothers Big Sisters. So, which is a great organization, by the way. So we are starting a little bit early. Hopefully that doesn't conflict with some individual schedules, but good morning to everybody. So let us just start and see how the day goes. So let me just do my computer here and one moment. A great organization, by the way. So the day. There we go. I was on a Zoom on my laptop. So what I do is I watch Facebook on my laptop, which is right next to my computer, and then I can see your comments and who's awake and who is participating this morning. So, and it's a little bit early. So our normal individuals who might be participating might still be sleeping. I know a couple of them are retired and enjoying their retirement. So again, good morning. First Monday in June. So my second cup of the day is one that a lot of people should appreciate. It is Rosebud Motel. Schitt's Creek, loved the show, loved it. I brought that out because a lot of people are going to be traveling, staying in motels, and definitely supporting our economy with tourism. If you don't know what to do, you can do Enjoy Illinois. That is a wonderful website to let you do a staycation. If you want to stay and do all the things in the state, that is a lot of fun. There's a lot of things to do around our area. The pools are opening up and a lot of other fun things to do. A lot of festivals, flea markets. I went to the flea market yesterday. And also I did the farmer's market. Farmer's markets are open as well too. So just interesting. So what is going on? This thing called Springfield. We are done with Springfield, as you might know. Last week was an all-nighter. It is something that I don't particularly like. However, the speaker seems to think that's the most efficient way to get things done. So that's his choice. He's the speaker. We started at noon on Tuesday. We gavelled in about noon on Tuesday, and we gavelled out about 5:30 in the morning on Wednesday. So again, not my preferred way to do business, but that's what happened. That's what we got done. There are a total of 465 bills that went through the General Assembly that closed out the spring session. 207 House bills, 258 Senate bills. They were all passed. They were all sent to the governor. I was a sponsor or a chief sponsor. So the chief sponsor is the one that is pretty much in the driver's seat of the bills. Co-sponsors help with the bill as needed. So I was a chief co-sponsor of 28 bills and 8 resolutions that passed out of the House. A couple of the bills, I'll just give you a quick update. We updated our laws to include the United States Space Force in the definition of armed forces for the state of Illinois. So individuals that are going to get out of the military service through Space Force now qualify for all the benefits that other veterans get in the state of Illinois. The second one, House Bill 612, which was sent to the governor. I've talked about this before. In fact, this passed the House 3 times now. This is the 3rd time passing this bill. It provides property tax exemptions to veterans with service-connected disabilities. They already get it, but there are some areas of the state where assessors were interpreting the law differently. So we had to unify it. So we unified it, service-connected disabilities, which means that the VA deemed your discharge honorable. You are getting VA benefits. That's a little bit of a different there, and then provides 100% property tax exemption for our World War II veterans. We did have to backdate this bill, so they should get the exemption as soon as the governor signs it, and we hope that he will sign it quickly for this taxable year 2024, which is going to be paid in 2025. And disabled veterans will be going back to 2023, which is payable this year. So since it's a new project for our World War II veterans, It's going to be paid in next year, but our disabled veterans, the clarifying language goes back to this year. We also had a bill that was House Bill 612 for those following around. The Space Force is House Bill 5640, and then House Bill 4757 is a veteran benefit poster that goes along with the Department of Labor. We're going to work with the Department of Veterans Affairs to talk about, we talked about this before, service members, veteran benefits, services, and protections. We've talked about this bill finally passed, House Bill 4934, which we were working with the Naperville VFW posts, and there was some nuances in the language of the law that really was a barrier to them replacing grave markers of veterans over 100 years old. So we just had to do some clarifying language to that, and they are almost good to go as soon as the governor signs that bill to work with those grave markers. And then House Bill 5655 looks at developing a policy in which to allow a student to submit missed coursework and assignments due to the student participating in drill or other official duties. And that's good. We also worked on a couple of chief co-sponsors, House Bill 5353, Department of Financial and Professional Regulation, that military spouses meeting eligibility requirement for Illinois social work license shall be granted a temporary license. The Department of Professional Regulation is just a mess these days. And then House Bill 5450 amends the Higher Education Veterans Service Act. And then we were looking at House Bill 5596, Child Care Act of 69, to exempt daycare homes and group daycare homes serving dependents of military personnel from state licensing. They are located on military bases or federal property as certified by the U.S. Department of Defense. And then Senate Bill 2751, I was the chief sponsor in the House, waives the building permit fees for veterans with disabilities if the improvement is required to accommodate their disability. Senate Bill 3479 closes the Claim Shark loophole. Individuals are allowed to get services for free. There are individuals that are charging veterans portions of their benefit. It's not right. They can if they choose, but they have to know that they can get those benefits for free. And then the last one is Senate Bill 2778. I was a chief co-sponsor on this. Allows eligible veteran applicants for deputy sheriff roles to request an earlier examination date if successful, they'll be placed on the eligibility list immediately. This is because when individuals get out of the military, it doesn't quite time up with these tests for sheriffs, and so they should be able to request an earlier examination date and get on the list, most likely because of them getting out of the military at an odd time. So we worked with the Secretary of State. Senate Bill 4108 creates and allows the Secretary of State to issue an Air Force Combat Action Medal license plate to a resident who is awarded the Air Force Combat Medal Action. I was a chief co-sponsor on that. Senate Bill 4365, special registration plates designated to Defense Superior Service plates or Defense Distinguished Service plates to residents of the state who have received the Defense Distinguished Service Medal. And then I was a House chief sponsor on Senate Bill 2959, which creates a vehicle decal for the Sons of the American Legion. And it also allows Gold Star families to receive a Gold Star family designation on their state IDs or driver's license. So all fees for the Sons of the American Legion will go into the Illinois Sons of the American Legion Fund. And then House Bill 4966 allows the Secretary of State to issue specialty plates to motorcycles and autocycles. So I was a chief sponsor on that. So a lot of work, a lot of veteran-centric work this year. We recognized our Cold War veterans, House Resolution 443, and then House Resolution 819 honored the American soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines from the state of Illinois who made the ultimate sacrifice since the previous tribute, and that was our annual Memorialized Day. We did a lot more, and it will take really a considerable amount to read through all the rest of the stuff that we did, but that was the main highlights with regards to our veterans. Chief co-sponsor on a lot of bills. As I said, about 28 of them. And so certainly we will be sending these out in the email to give you an update on all that has happened in the in Illinois General Assembly. One of them that's really important, though, that I want to highlight, I was the chief co-sponsor on, is Senate Bill 3414, requires insurance coverage for continuous glucose monitors and related supplies for any individual diagnosed with diabetes, not just type 1 and 2, but also diabetes mellitus. So that's a very important thing. And then we had our House resolutions that honored our missing in action POW. We had 4 of them. Talked about them last time we were on, and they passed the House, did not pass the Senate. Working really hard. The Senate, for some reason, did not want to bring it up. I was told because they only want to consider those that passed in this period of the 2000s, working to figure out what the situation is. So working on that. Digital IDs, you will be able to keep a digital version of your driver's license and other state IDs on your cell phones. I know a lot of people that will make them very happy. And then local journalism got a boost with a measure that would not allow a local news organization to be sold without 120 days notice to employees and their representatives. The State Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity county government in which the outlet is located in any in-state nonprofit organization in the business of buying local news organizations. We're working at medical debt. Governor Pritzker had an initiative that we approved to erase as much as $1 billion in medical debt for more than 300,000 Illinois families. This is a similar effort launched in Cook County that was on track to allow medical bill assistance for about 73,000 residents last year in Cook County. Also, artificial intelligence. We had a bill that would protect artists and others in creative fields from unauthorized digital replicas, in line with the national conversation about artificial intelligence and pop culture. This is a huge issue. There are, actress Scarlett Johansson, hip hop stars Drake and Kendrick Lamar. It's banning unauthorized digital replicas produced through AI. And then help for those with limited English. We passed a bill to allow state agencies to be required to make sure Illinois residents who speak limited English are able to access government services. Again, this is their native languages, so it can be anything from obviously Spanish, but also Japanese or Chinese, Korean, Middle Eastern languages and dialects. There's a lot of Indian. There's a lot of different languages spoken here in Illinois. Polish, for example. Believe it or not, there is a lot of different languages spoken in the state of Illinois, and so we are looking at language access. So looking at that, and then again, reproductive health. Illinois is supporting all forms of reproductive health for women, and definitely we are barring hospitals from transferring or turning away poor patients before they are stabilized, but is interpreted by some as a protection for doctors who perform abortion care as part of reproductive rights. It's not, and so if they have a medical emergency, they can't just transfer them or not accept them. Certainly an interesting thing. So moving right along to the governor's budget. Now, I have a lot of papers here, what was passed and what positions were filled. So a couple things went on. We had 4 fairly robust discussions about the bill and looking with regards to the budget. So we have some high points with regards to the budget, some points of discussion. And obviously, I can't get through the whole budget in less than an hour. It will take a little bit more, and the budget is really a working document that the governor works off of. So what the budget does, and I've told this before, I will say it again. The budget is a authorization to spend funds for the governor. So the General Assembly spends no money. The budget is an authorization of line items for the governor to spend. Now, one of the things in this budget that we did is we reduced the ability of the governor to transfer between line items. It was at 8% during COVID to give a maximum flexibility. We brought that down to 4%. So that means if there's $1,000 in the line item for pencils and $1,000 in the, or $500 in the line item for pens, the governor can only transfer 4% from the line item of pencils to the line item of pens, 4%. So about $40. So that brought that down. So we went through the governor's budget. You can find the governor's budget online, and we looked really to go through the governor's proposal. So there was $45 million in cuts to the governor's proposal. However, some other line items were increased. So going back to the fact that the state needs a budget, so I voted for the budget, which is again the authorization for the governor to spend money. It does not mandate the governor to spend money. It's an authorization because we don't know how the revenues will come in throughout this year coming up. If the budget revenues come in as we expect, then the budget is balanced, and it will the revenues, expected revenues and expected expenditures, what's coming in and what's going out, is balanced at this point in time. Now, if something were to happen and revenues go down, the governor has the ability to not spend to the top of the line items. That is pretty much how the budget works. So the governor spends the money as the revenues are coming in, and he is there to adjust if need be. And we have given line item authority. So most of the things, if we look at them, they most of the line items really are contingent on how we are doing financially. So that's the kind of the bottom line. So what do we have? Just to top the overviews, we're going to give you the overviews of the budget, but just because, like I said, on the sake of time, and I don't want to bore you. I know that could be very boring, but talking about budgets and numbers. But the governor requested funding for migrants. We do have the migrant situation. These are individuals that are legally seeking asylum in the state of Illinois, not to be confused by some of the rhetoric out there. So the governor's full $182 million request was funded. Then health insurance spending was flat. So pretty much we kept that line item flat for immigrants that are here in the US. $200 million for after school and summer youth programs, which is really important. Our direct support individuals who work so hard got an increase of another $1 an hour, and then $50 million in child tax care with regards to that as well. So what does this all mean? Families. So the budget that will help families, again, $50 million child tax credit will be on your taxes. So you won't really see it, but you'll see it when you do your taxes. You'll get a child tax credit at $50 million for the whole state, obviously. Looked to eliminate the state imposed a grocery tax for the local municipalities statewide. So what we did is we're eliminating the state doing this in the business of collecting the taxes for the local municipalities. And so the local government, your states and villages can impose their own grocery tax if they choose to. So that was in the budget as well. And then I talked about medical debt. So we are looking at, we put aside in this budget about $10 million that will help $1 billion in medical debt. Now, education, what we did is we continued our Smart Start initiative for early funding for early childhood education, creating new opportunities to up to 5,000 young learners. Again, we are committing new money, $350 million new to our public schools through the evidence-based funding formula. And then teacher vacancy grants, we have a grant to help with the teacher shortage, about $45 million for that. And then MAP grants, I got a MAP grant when I was in college. A lot of people got a MAP grant. This will be about another 140,000 students with a pathway to affordable college education, and then $40 million to career and technical education to train people in the technical and career arena. Healthcare through the budget, again, $159 million in new funding for senior care through the community care program, keep seniors in their homes longer. $4 million in new funding for maternal mortality. Believe it or not, the U.S. is still struggling with regards to maternal mortality. We have mothers dying in childbirth, and we need to provide more support for that, women and babies. So we're doing that. We're funding community-based birth centers. Mental health, so $13 million for action on campus to address wellness of our colleges and university, including full funding for NAMI and reversing a proposed budget cut in the spring proposal with regards to mental health. The budget continues to our commitment for, like I said, direct service providers. They are providing service with the most vulnerable citizens, and we are providing $1 an hour raise. So continuing to help them out. Public safety, this is again a big overview. Public safety, we are looking at funding, increased funding for our police departments, which would be equipment, training, and recruiting and retaining officers. 2 new state police cadet training of deploying 200 new state troopers, and hundreds of millions of dollars to innovative community-based violence prevention efforts, reimagine public safety, gun violence prevention, youth diversion, and intervention. So looking to regard to that. And then the budget creates a new incentive. So this is the governor's initiative. You probably heard it on the news. The new incentives to make Illinois the hub of emerging technologies like quantum computing, and extends research and development tax credit to invest in innovation. We also have some support for small and medium-sized businesses by eliminating swipe fees that cost businesses every time the customer uses a credit card, not necessarily eliminating the swipe fees, but what happens is they swipe a card and fees get charged on the whole amount, and it's just not the right thing to do. Senator Durbin's looking at this as well. So they should only be charging on the amount of goods and services, not the taxes and not the tip. So so cutting that and then capping the state's franchise fees. So looking at those overall. So that's overall the budget. It is really more in depth with regards to supporting safety net hospitals. $100 million was to go to our safety net hospitals. These are hospitals that are treating individuals on Medicaid. About more funding for nursing homes, about 70 million. Domestic violence programs will receive an increase as well, about 20 million. This is to replace the federal funding that was in place. A lot of the spending in this budget, we did have federal funding for, like the increase for domestic violence during COVID, that reduced, but there is still a need for funding domestic violence. And then rental assistance is still a need, so 40 million with regards to that. So, and then when we looked at revenues, so there was a revenue package. So what that came down to is a tax on sports betting, capping the realtor's discount for collecting sales tax, which we talked about a little bit with regards to that, capping it at $1,000 a month. So the state of Illinois would rebate, pretty much pay retailers to help them offset the costs of filing taxes and that, like, but everything's electronic now, and we were paying higher than the average nationally. So, and then net operating loss deduction, we increased that to 500,000 a year, but still that's given us a couple extra dollars in the budget with regards to that. Video gaming tax was raised 1%, and that's going to go to what was a bond issue. So we offer bonds in the way of being able to do projects similar like a home equity loan. If you have to put on an addition onto your house, you take out a home equity loan or line of credit, and then you put on the addition to your house. The state of Illinois floats bonds in order to do large capital projects. So in order to fund the capital project tied to the bond, it was a $3.5 billion bond issue, was raising the state's video gaming tax, so that funding will go there. And also there's a tax on companies that re-rent large blocks of rental rooms. So that will bring in some funds as well. And then there is an MCO assessment that will bring in funds. And so the assessment on managed care organizations is a small charge. And so that will culminate and bring in some funds as well. So one of the big discussions we are having with regards to the capital bill and with regards to this dependency on video gaming is that pretty much suburban areas like out here have video gaming, and that money goes to the state. It also goes to the local economy as well. But the largest market for video gaming, which is the city of Chicago, has opted out of video gaming. So raising the taxes on the video gaming machines to fund capital projects, of which some of them will be in Chicago, is fundamentally unfair because it's the suburbs subsidizing the city of Chicago, and the city of Chicago is not participating in the video gaming program. So that was a huge area of contention. That's one of the reasons why I voted against raising those taxes, because we're subsidizing Chicago, and Chicago wants to sit and come to Springfield and ask for funding for different things, but yet they're not even helping themselves with regards to that. So it's very disingenuous. So that's one of the reasons why I voted against the tax package as it was presented. There were a couple other concerns I had with the tax package with that was going into the budget, and but it ultimately passed. So the budget is balanced with regards to these new revenues as well. So and the grocery tax, we talk about that, but won't take effect until January 1, 2026. So certainly that's kind of the upper level thing. It's the sixth balanced budget. As I said, the budget has the revenues, expected revenues, and the expected expenditures certainly do add up. So that is our overview with regards to the budget and the grocery tax elimination. And then the budget implementation bill provided some more funding for the road fund, some more local funding for that, and certainly looking at funding other grants to our local law enforcement camera centers and the likes of that. Very long list of things in the budget implementation bill. And then certainly that is a lot of what happened in from noon. Now, these are not all everybody wants to say the budget pops out at the last minute. That's fundamentally false. And really, if you followed the governor's budget that was proposed in February the General Assembly tries to align with the governor's budget as much as we can, and this is the case as well. So for individuals to say that, oh, the budget popped out 5 o'clock in the morning or whatnot. The final version came out, but the governor's introduced budget has been out there since February, and everybody could look at it. And that's the roadmap in which the General Assembly works at. So they're just a bunch of poppycock. And they want to talk that way. Then just a couple of fun tidbits, and I will let you out on your way. Mexico had an election, took place on Sunday, June 2nd. The votes are still being counted. However, it looks like Mexico will elect the first female president. It's a huge step in a country with soaring levels of gender bias, violence, and deep gender disparity. Mexico has been famously for their machismo and their male-centric culture, but it's really, this is pretty, I think, interesting and very symbolic. Historically, the number of women in socially conservative countries are taking up leadership and political roles. And since 2018, Mexico's Congress had had a 50-50 gender split, and the number of female governors has shot up as well. So certainly that is, it's just a fun fact. So the final election results will be released on June 5th. So, but this month, a lot of things going on this month, Pride Month. It's a celebration of love, individuality, and equality. It's a time to reflect on past struggles and support ongoing efforts for LGBTQ rights. A Gun Violence Awareness Month. June is Gun Violence Awareness Month. Remember those who lost their lives to gun violence senselessly. And as I just talked about in our budget, we are funding more violence prevention programs. So definitely working with regards to that. It's also National Men's Health Month. So we encourage men and boys to take their health seriously, eating right, exercising, being mindful of mental health, and seeing a doctor. And then it's also PTSD Awareness Month, post-traumatic stress disorder. I like to say post-traumatic stress injury because it really is an injury and not technically a disorder, but it technically is a disorder when you look it up on all the medical websites and stuff. However, 13 million Americans are living with some aspect of PTSD. And it's not just veterans, by the way. It's not just veterans. People have traumatic events happen to them. Frequently, it could be a car accident. It could be even a very negative encounter with an individual. It could be a toxic relationship, friendship gone sour. It could also be, getting a purse stolen or getting robbed or getting your house broken into. So post-traumatic stress, it can hit anybody randomly without warning, and certainly is something that needs to be checked out. So, and it might not, you might not think about it, like say, if you get a purse stolen, or if, just the other day in the neighborhood, there were two dogs fighting. One dog got loose, ran over, attacked another dog. They separated the dogs. That's traumatic. I mean, that's traumatic. And that's something to just talk about. Find a mental health professor. Talk about this through a mental health professional. And, it's okay. It's okay. People think, oh, it was something that was little. The dog, my dog's fine. It just got attacked. Number one, your dog's probably suffering some sort of trauma too. But secondly, internally, you might think it's okay, but internally it might not be okay. So just find somebody to talk about it. Mental health is important. Sunday, June 2nd was National Cancer Survivors Day. So commemorate all those who have fought cancer and won. Congratulations on that, but also remember those that didn't win. My father died of liver cancer, and my father-in-law died of lung cancer. So remember those individuals as well, but certainly celebrate the ones that have beat cancer. And then Wednesday, June 5th is World Environment Day. So, first celebrated in 1973, 3 years after the first Earth Day celebration in the United States, World Environment Day brings awareness to the challenges facing our world, climate change and pollution. Now, we're still trying to be doing our part, moving forward, carbon-free power and 100% renewable energy. We also passed a law with regards to carbon capture. So we are really, really working hard on that aspect. So, what's going on? We're raising funds on Sunday in an annual ride to remember motorcyclists, honor fallen police officers. 1,000 motorcyclists hit the Chicago streets Sunday morning to honor fallen police officers and raise money for the Chicago Police Memorial Foundation. And we will always remember those individuals that gave their life in service to our communities, our fallen police officers and fallen firefighters. It kicked off at 9 a.m. Sunday on Chicago's West Side at the United Center, made its way to the Gold Star Families Memorial and Park at Soldier Field, and a brief ceremony was scheduled. They are remembering weeks just after Chicago Police Department Officer Louis Huesca was shot and killed in the Gage Park neighborhood while returning home from his shift. This year's Ride to Remember was also honoring Chicago Police Department Officer Alejandro Alex Valdez, who was killed in the line of duty 15 years ago in June 2009. So we also have the Illinois Conservation Foundation partnering with the Illinois Department of Natural Resources to raise awareness and money for Illinois state parks. So you can go to ilstateparks.org for information with regards to that. And then spring turkey hunters harvest record number of wild turkeys. So it's quite a harvest, 17,208 wild turkeys during the 2024 turkey season. So if you're into turkeys, there you go. Illinois Department of Natural Resources is hosting a cicada-themed art show during the Illinois State Fair. And, quote, it's going to be a scream, quote, if you hear the cicadas noise going on. It's the epicenter of the rare double cicada brood emergence this summer, and IDNR wants to commemorate the occasion with a public art show in Conservation World during the 2024 Illinois State Fair. You can go on their website, dnr.illinois.gov/cicada-art-contest, and upload all your photos, well-lit digital photos of the artwork. Sunny Cho Williams installed as the 148th president of the Illinois State Bar Association. Congratulations to her. She's the first woman lawyer of color to serve the president of the association. So we wish Sunny all the best in her new announcement. Now, mark your calendars, July 13th, our annual Shred and Recycle Day, 9 a.m. to noon in our parking lot. More information to follow. And if you sign up for our website, for our emails, you will get an update. We have a very comprehensive update for the General Assembly for the budget that got passed. So if you haven't signed up for the update, please sign up for it, and ildistrict84.com, and you will definitely get emailed out a budget summary that we have today. So that is all I have today. I want to wish everybody a happy June. Pride Day, the Pride Parades are coming up. Check your calendar, your local community for Pride Parade. Good morning, Bob. I saw you coming on. I know we started a little early. Not sure if you caught it, but you can catch this on the replay. And then I know a couple of people listen to this on Spotify, and I was noticed, given notice by somebody that it's no longer up there. So we're working on that. Our podcast on Spotify. Thank you for people that are listening on Spotify and listening on Facebook Live, and definitely sharing this update. So with that, I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Make sure you stay cool. If you need cooling centers, you can call my office, 630-585-1308. If you need cooling centers or assistance, we can help you out the best we can. So with that, have a great day, stay cool, and enjoy the outdoors, or just relax and enjoy the summertime. Pools are open, farmers markets are blooming. flowers are out. So everybody have a great day. Take care.